Let's say a group of Georgia Southern filmmakers, your alma mater, had made a bunch of short films and had yet to make a feature. So they're all from your school, and maybe you're going to address the class and give them advice. What would you tell them about distributing short films compared to distributing a feature film? Or maybe there's absolutely no comparison, they're two different.
Well, I think there is a comparison to be had. I actually have had this conversation with students at Georgia Southern. I'm on the advisory board, so I go back periodically to talk. And one of the things that I think the differentiator between distributing a short film and distributing a feature film is monetized, because a short film in general, if you do it right, you don't really have to monetize it unless it's a $50,000 effects-driven thing that you want CAA to watch. That's a different kind of project. But if you're making a standard short film or web series or something of that nature, like I said earlier, distribution is not as much of an issue, I don't think, because you're just trying to attract attention. But when you make a feature film, there's money involved. And when there's money involved, distribution is extremely important, because if you don't have a distribution plan, pathway, or someone to purchase the picture, someone's going to lose a lot of money. And if that someone loses a lot of money, it's not very good for your career.
So let's take that $50,000 short film. Let's say it's now their second film that they want to make, short film. Are you advising them to do that? And they want to tour the festival circuit with it. Does that make sense?
I think it depends, and I know that's not a clear-cut answer. Long and short answer, I don't think that most people are equipped to go make a $50,000 visual effects-driven short film that they're going to take to film festivals and try to get the attention of a major agency to sign them to a studio picture that's going to be a multi-million-dollar event film. There are examples, but I think they're very few if you start quantifying the number of people that get to do that versus the number of people that actually attempt it. I think at the end of the day, you're better served, unless you happen to be a visual effects genius, and if you are, more power to you, go do it. But if you do not have the capacity or the skills to do some of that yourself, spend the money in other ways. You can make a $50,000 feature film instead of your $50,000 short visual effects driven film that might enable you to do something better that you probably could monetize by selling it yourself and put yourself in a better position to advance your career.
Would you say there's a cap on what someone should spend on a short film? Let's say this is their second film and they're hoping to do that. They're hoping to tour the festival circuit with it and get the attention. Is there like a minimum, or excuse me, a maximum, like no more than $10,000, even though that is still a lot of money?
It is a lot of money. I think that there isn't such a thing as a maximum you should spend on a short film, but I think there is a maximum you should spend as to what you can afford and as to what your story needs to serve it well. I think that when you're making a short, or even a micro-budget feature for that matter, whatever it is, you always need to treat your budget as what is the lowest amount I can make this film for that will best serve the story and not thwart my attempt to make it the best I can. And that doesn't matter what you're trying to make, but whatever it is, make sure you can afford it. Because say, for example, you do spend $10,000 on that short film. You've made the short film, but that's not the end of your expenses, is it? Now you have film festival submissions. Say you get into some festivals, you probably want to go to those festivals to network, to meet other producers, to meet other filmmakers, to do some press for it, to do the things that are going to give your movie attention. How much money did you budget for that? Did you not budget money for it? Now you have another couple thousand that you've added to your total budget. Those are things that you have to ask yourself at the onset. And if you only have $10,000 to make the film, that isn't just production, that's all of those other fees that come with it. So you really have to think, what is the lowest amount I can tell this story effectively at so I can enable myself to get to my next goal?
But then have more money in reserves, or maybe if it's going to be a year before you actually finish the project, have that ready for press, festivals, maybe even hiring a publicist, things like that. Factor that in.
And those are all factors that any filmmaker that takes their career seriously should consider. Now, if you're just doing this amateur, if you just want to make films because you like doing it as a hobby, you don't need to worry with all that. But if you want to be a professional filmmaker, if you want to be a professional writer, director, actor, those are factors you absolutely have to account for.